So just bear with me as we get this whole thing together and not crashing. Okay, move that over, get that together, and I think we are golden. I'm hoping. I don't see the stream in this thing, so let me refresh really quick. So we're connecting. We're connecting. And I think we are. There we go. We're in. Dope. And done. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Dave Drakes, and we are back for another TCE Supercross Watch Party Seattle edition. I'm joined by two awesome guests. The first guy, you're going to know who this guy is. He's been on a bunch. He is the person that makes our heart beat very quickly when we see him. He is that wonderful. Man behind the scenes, doing a lot of things for TCE and so many other teams. It's the one and only Mr. Jeff Crutcher. What's up, dude?
Can I give myself a round of applause?
Yeah, you can. You can. Actually, I can give you a round of applause right here. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Thank you. Thank you. That's
and
awesome.
My other guest is the man behind the AJ Catanzaro Moto Academy app. He is the driver. He is the life coach. He is the moral support. He is the muscle. He is the brains. He is the curator. The Moto Academy's very own Driver Jamie. What's up, Driver Jamie? How you doing, man?
What's going on, my brother? How are you? That's a hell of an intro.
Gotta love that one, man. Gotta love it.
That's awesome.
So we're super stoked to have you guys in the live watch party with us. Shout out to all of our amazing sponsors, FXR Moto, the people who keep us threaded and looking good on the track, as well as Flow Vision Goggles, EVS, Overshare Advice and Planning, Speed and Sport Adventures, Evans Power Coolant, and most recently, Phoenix Handlebars. Guys, check those promo codes below to save some big cash on all of your moto needs. Huge shout out to the program. The Collective Experience is where you guys can go behind the scenes with your favorite racers and teams like Creo Racing and meet people like Driver Jamie. You guys can get a plethora of knowledge in various parts of the industry like mechanic support, content creation, social media support, and so much more. TheCollectiveXP.com. Use the link below. Use promo code The Moto Academy to save big, and you guys can attend the races like an absolute G, get a job in the industry, make some connections, and do it big. This weekend, guys, we are in Seattle. Last weekend, we were in Indy, had an awesome time with Crutcher and the crew. We had a couple interns in there, and we were having a blast. Crutcher, I want to kick it over to you first. What's your thoughts on the Seattle track? Obviously, it's the Pacific Northwest. It's always rainy. We've got some mud down. From a team manager's perspective, what do you think about mud races?
That's the worst thing that can happen is to have a mud race. I fear them so much, dude. I'm so afraid of us doing a mud race. It's the last thing that I want. It ruins everything.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I'm not a big fan of mud races. Everyone knows this. They're not my favorite. I'd much rather attend a race as a dry spectator. So they're not my favorite. Jamie, I think you've had a mud race or two, like while you were wrenching in here and there. Is it like a pain in the ass for you as well when you're actually hands on the bike?
Oh, it's like the Titanic sinking. It's horrible. The first one I remember is Atlanta, and what a mud race that was. We were driving in the car, and we could have got out with oars. It was horrible.
Oh my! Why do people love them though? Like, why do the fans love watching them?
Well, it makes the race even. Takes away the factory advantage. I mean, it's basically who spent the most time as a kid being an idiot in the mud.
Yeah. It drives me nuts because like I love seeing these guys go fast. I love seeing like triples, step on, step offs, rolling through corners. But when it's a mud race, everyone's going super slow. Looks like we don't have that tonight, but I'm not a big fan of mud races from a spectator standpoint. Yes, it's great to see I guess more of an even playing field, but they're going so slow. It's like I might as well just watch a 50 race, you know?
Yeah, let's go ahead and make it clear though. This is not a mud race.
This
Yeah,
is
no,
not,
this is
not,
pretty
this is not a
good.
mud race. Yeah, this is not a mud race. I'll say that. It looked a little sloppy in practice, but this is definitely not a mud race.
These are the same conditions as we had in Birmingham. Actually, Birmingham might have been wetter than this. Now that I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this don't look bad at all.
No, for sure. Yeah, so we got the first heat out for 250s. Kitchen in first, Hampshire second, Beaumere in third. Super cool to see Beaumere up in the top three. I think he's had a little bit of issues with consistency. Boys, we're all over a certain age, and I think we all can remember when PC was the prominent class leader. I mean, head and shoulders above the rest. And now it's almost like Yamaha for the last however many years, Honda, then Yamaha, was the featured bike, was the class winner for a long time. But we're starting to see PC boys with the red plates. Do you think this is the start of like the old regime coming back where PC is going to start winning titles now consistently? Or do you think this is a fluke? Like, what are your thoughts on it? Driver Jamie, I'll kick it over to you first.
I personally don't think you're going to see any more dynasties. I think the bikes are too competitive. I think the carousel of riders going back and forth, especially in the 250 class, everybody changes every 2 years. You don't see like that loyalty that you used to see back in the day, with Rick Johnson and them. Even them, I mean, at least they would sign a contract 4 or 5 years. These guys are signing 1-year deals, 2-year deals. I don't see anybody dominating anymore at all. I think you're going to see, who got the best off-season prep and who has the best, system going in. I mean, I like Levi Kitchen. I'd like to see him win this, but I don't see anybody dominating any brand anymore.
Yeah, I could see that. And as we're speaking of a dynasty, look at this. We got two of Moto Academy's finest now. We're joined by the COO, Mr. Operations himself of Moto Academy, Mr. Tony. What's going on, brother?
What's up, fellas? How you guys doing?
We're doing good, man. We're watching a little bit of the Supercross race right now. We got Levi Kitchen out front, and we're just talking about the Cowies kind of asserting themselves as the class leader this year. Tony, you're a Cowie guy. Just like myself. What are your thoughts on the Kawasaki's, man? You like riding yours?
Dude, it's solid. It's I don't know why it doesn't get like, so you have the pros up here, but then you have everybody else who shits on Kawasaki. Yeah. And I don't understand that. I find it to be like a fine-tuned machine. It's still running. I think it's 2021, and it still rips. I don't see the problem. I love it. Power's there. It's a reliable machine.
I dig them. I like mine. I will say Crutcher is talking me into a 350 KTM, and he's doing a very good job because there's been a couple times where I've walked into some dealerships and I'm like, man, my wallet's itching. And Crutcher's bikes, I mean, what he's done with his team, man, to get those bikes looking good, it'll make you cry walking by his pits. Crutcher, you've been in this sport for a long time. You've seen the rise and fall of Kawasaki. Do you agree with Jamie that we're not going to see any more dynasties in the sport where some people are clicking off wins after wins after wins, titles after titles? Or what are your thoughts?
I think the thing about dynasties is you don't know. It's hard to even identify when you're in the middle of a dynasty, and I think that right now, I believe that we're in the lights class. I think that we're in the midst of a dynasty with the Monster Energy Yamaha team. Now, I know that they don't necessarily win everything, but neither did PC whenever, PC had some come and go times, even whenever they were at the height of their game. But obviously looking back through rose tinted glasses, it's really easy to be like, oh, PC was the bike. PC, they still got beat. I mean, they got beat regularly, and namely by Yamaha of Troy. And I think that the two biggest names since we've gone to the 250F motorcycle has been Yamaha and Kawasaki. They've got the most championships between the two of them, and it seems like it ebbs and flows. Now, obviously, within the last couple years, it's been a lot. We've seen a lot of Hondas winning, but we're not really seeing that now. I mean, the two lights guys in the 250 class are Shimoda and then
Hymas.
thank you, Hymas. So I mean, they have the same exact equipment that the Lawrence brothers did, and they're not producing the same level of results as what we had, the last 2 years. I think that we're in the middle or the beginning of a dynasty with Yamaha. I mean, they've got their shit figured out. They've got the most money. They have the best infrastructure. Their team is gnarly, to say the least. And I mean, their team owner doesn't give a fuck. He stays wearing those New Balance strap grandpa shoes.
The Velcros are legendary.
Yeah. And anybody that has a problem with it can kiss his ass.
Yeah. So from a team manager standpoint, how are they able? They've got at least 15 guys on that team. They just signed Moseman. It's a basketball team at this point. How are they able to do this?
Money. That's all it boils down to. They have the most money of everybody.
It's like, holy crap, dude. Like every time you turn around, it's like so-and-so got signed to Star Racing Yamaha. It's like, where are they going to put the bike?
Yeah. Where did they get all the money from?
Monster Energy from Yamaha. And the thing is they just reinvested into their team. And the thing that we have to remember is I doubt that Bobby Reagan takes $1 from the team. I think him and Bobby Hewitt are the only two that I know of that are team owners that didn't take a paycheck from their team. And that's because they both have successful businesses outside of Supercross. So all of the money that, a guy that would be a team owner or team manager would make is just cycled back into the program. And I think it's really easy for us to forget that Monster Energy is just Green Claw Coca-Cola. Okay. Like they have more money than they know what to do with. And Yamaha is getting the bigger portion of that. So I think that's why we see their roster the size that it is and why their assets and their equipment are in the condition they are.
So we got kind of a two questions that I kind of want to reshape a little bit in the chat. So I think Bunny Man's asking about what this panel thinks about the Suzukis as a whole. I think I know what driver Jamie's going to say. And from a team manager standpoint, Crutcher, how you feel about the Ducati and Triumphs. But I want to reshape it a little bit. So Suzuki's, we'll start with that. But I also want to add another little question, part B. If Bobby Hewitt was like, what, we're dropping Yamaha, we're going to Suzuki for next year, and and the money was the same, do you think he could make a Suzuki win in a Supercross race?
Yes. I mean, it's an easy answer. Yes, the answer is yes.
What do you think he'd do? Is it racing operation? Is it bike performance? What do you think he'd be able to change?
Everything. I mean, the thing is the Suzuki, it's not the fastest bike stock, but if you're willing to put the research and development into that engine, you can easily get the same horsepower out of it that you are getting out of a Cowie or a Honda. Maybe not the same raw horsepower as you can get out of a Yamaha or a KTM, but at the end of the day, horsepower only does so much. We all know that the Suzuki still to this day is the best handling motorcycle made. The Suzuki engineers have always had the best handling chassis. So yeah, I think that Reagan or if DeCoster went back to Suzuki, I mean, it would be the same thing. We'd see the same results.
Gotcha. Tony, have you ridden a Suzuki before?
No, never. I've only been on a Yamaha and a Kawasaki. But I'm curious on R&D money. Obviously, everybody has an allotment of money for R&D. What would Yamaha and KTM be spending money on R&D versus Kawasaki, Suzuki, Honda? What's everybody spending money on relative to R&D that they're not getting the horsepower or just solid frame motorcycle that KTM and I guess Suzuki would, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah. So the thing is you got to remember that we'll start with Suzuki. Suzuki manufactures outboard boat motors. You know,
Right.
they also manufacture scooters. They also manufacture, I mean, a whole litany of different kinds of equipment that actually make money. You know, I mean, outboard, you know, whenever they sell an outboard boat motor, it's, you know, $8,000, and they have some of the best, you know, four-stroke outboard boat motors on the market. And the thing is, people are buying 4 and 6 of them at a time, you know, so there's a lot of the research and development that comes from dirt bikes and road racing gets sent to other departments. Okay, it's the same exact reason that Formula One exists. The whole point of Formula One is for research and development. The amount of R&D that Red Bull, or, you know, we'll say AlphaTauri, whatever, that they do in correlation with Honda turns into better performing cars that drive on the street. So far down as to the Accord, the Civic, the HRC, whatever that, you know, that. So, you know, braking technology, transmission technology, booster technology, suspension technology, all of that comes from racing and then is transferred over to a different dimension. You know, now Suzuki takes their R&D that they made for motocross and then put it into outboard boats. Honda does the same exact thing with cars, or sorry, not with cars, but with side-by-sides, with ATVs, with they don't do personal watercraft anymore, but when they were, you got to think like a lot of that endurance testing and durability testing that comes from Supercross is then taken into other divisions within the company. As far as Kawasaki goes, you know, again, Kawasaki Heavy Industries, it's really easy to forget the fact that Kawasaki makes four-wheel articulating tractors, that they make, you know, bulldozers, that they make cranes, right? A lot of the small technology stuff rolls over from division to division. KTM right now, KTM's dialing back massively. And the reason that KTM is dialing back, that we're seeing it in motocross, supercross, and very much so off-road, is because KTM and Ducati are in nuclear war with each other in MotoGP.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, once you kind of understand all the different facets of like the company, because I mean they are businesses, right? And once you kind of understand their different portfolio outside of, you know, motocross basically, which is our world, it is quite fascinating to see how the money kind of trickles down and rolls out. As speaking of rollout, as we have heat number 2 for the 250s. What are you guys' thoughts on like Ducati and Triumph making the entry? We've talked about this the last couple of weeks, and they're starting to get more and more publicity on social media and the magazines. We're starting to see Cairoli teasing a lot more of him riding the Ducatis. Like, what are your thoughts on those bikes? I'll start with you, driver Jamie. What are
I
your
am
thoughts,
hoping
man?
the Ducatis are absolutely amazing, considering it's my dream bike. You
Yep.
know, I come from a road racing background, and the Ducati Panigale is the sweetest bike in the world to ride. So I am really hoping that the Ducati dirt bike is just half as good, and I will be so happy. I want to see them do very well. I don't necessarily see them winning right away, but you know, you take Italians with money, they make some nice cars. I'm sure they can make some nice dirt bikes.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of, you know, Tony's BMW with a trailer behind it being, you know, towing a Ducati. So that's all I'm thinking about right now.
Yeah. The Porsche. It's I mean, I have, that's a thing. I have it. It's ready to roll. It can happen. But yeah, I'm on the same page as Jamie, man. I like the Triumph motorcycles, like the Street Bobs or whatever they are, the cafe. I don't know, like that really bare bones style motorcycle.
Yeah.
If they can, although it's not really aesthetically pleasing on a dirt bike, but if they can make that performance from a street bob, I'll call it, to a dirt bike, I think it'll be okay. I don't think that's really going to do the job, but Ducati, I feel like, has the performance dialed regardless. Like I think they have all the engineering behind them. They have all of that figured out. So I feel like within the next 2 to 4 years, they might make a big splash on the scene.
I would absolutely love that. I'm kind of like Jamie. I'm a fan of all kinds of racing,
Oh
and
yeah.
I dipped my toe into the road racing realm. Started freaking out when I realized they don't have ruts or berms, and I got to lean my body off this bike going 160. That freaked me out a little bit. Got ran over by a few world champions. But
See, Dave, I can picture you looking fantastic in one of those one-piece suits. I can just, you would rock that.
The ass was assing. I will say that. The thighs were thighying. I will say that. But yeah, it was definitely a wake-up call for me to get back in the dirt once I was getting lapped by little kids, getting in the way more than anything. But Crutcher, I mean, you've been on KTMs and stuff like that, which I guess you can, in some people's eyes, those are kind of like the new kid on the block ish. What would it take for you guys to switch up and go to like a Triumph or Ducati, you know, when they're, I guess, race tested and ready to be dispersed on a more broad scale? Like, what would it take for you guys to try to hop on one of those things?
Manufacturer support. I'd leave KTM in an instant. I don't get anything from them. I don't get bikes. I don't get parts. I don't get money. I don't get double contingency. I get nothing from KTM. The reason we race KTMs is because we're partnered with very passionate dealers that sell KTM. Am I a KTM guy? Yeah, dude, I've been riding KTM since 1995, but I'm also in the business of running a business. And if I can save money by having manufacturer support, then that's the direction that we're going. I'm interested in everything, in every manufacturer. I think that I could take a Suzuki, I could take a Cowie, I could take a Ducati, I could take a Triumph, and I would know how to build a competitive race winning machine, especially in arena cross, and then do well in Supercross also. But it's funny because this last weekend I just had a guy that I was talking to, just a random onlooker fan in the pits, and we were talking about the Triumph, and he was going on about it, and I was like, well, it's a KTM engine, and he was like, what? I was like, no, like it's literally a KTM engine. The guy had absolutely no clue that the Triumph power plant is a KTM engine, that it is the 250F. The frame it's very visibly, very obviously based off of the 2009 Yamaha YZ250F, which is arguably one of the greatest 250Fs, that round, that really round kind of year era 250F that Yamaha had. And then really the one thing on the Triumph that's very different is the swing arm. And people don't really realize how much input the swing arm has into the handling of the motorcycle, but the swing arm is equally as important to the motorcycle as the shock and the forks are. But it's really easy to overlook because it just looks like it's part of the frame. But in reality, just the slightest dimension change in the geometrics of the swing arm can have a very big effect on the way that the motorcycle handles. And if you look at the Triumph swing arm, it's far different than everyone else's. Triumph, they're a motorcycle racing company that sells, cafe bikes. But that company is it's so rooted in history. And then on the note of Ducati, the thing that is very interesting to me is the desmodromic valve system, which if you're watching this, or if you get the opportunity to research how the Desmo engine works, it is one of the most fascinating power plants that has ever been conceived. In all of combustion engines that have ever existed. It's very wild to understand the technology of how those valves work.
And no valve float thing, that's a thing of the past now with those, with that type of engine. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane, especially with bikes that revving out at 14, 15, 16 grand. It's pretty incredible.
And what's wild is how Ducati owned MotoGP for as long as they did, and they continued down the path that they did. and they kind of became not. Yeah, dude, that was wild.
Oh, Shimoda,
Yeah.
come on.
Oh, dude, you could have got back on the track right there. I get it, but
Good Lord, what's he
wow.
doing?
Yeah, it's track's tacky, bro. A lot of
I feel like
grab.
he's got so many opportunities to get these little wins and heat races, or even like closer to podiums, and he just like makes these mistakes that like drives me insane because the dude is so talented. He's so fast.
We were talking earlier about the difference between him and Hymas and the last 250 guys that Honda had. The biggest difference that I noticed training with AJ down at the dog pound, Mr. Lawrence is the difference. Mr. Lawrence might be the smartest human being that I know as far as mechanics, engineering. Like, if you think the mechanics work hard for Honda, nobody works harder than Mr. Lawrence. And I truly believe one of the reasons the boys are as good as they are is Mr. Lawrence, and that's the difference. These 250 guys don't have him.
Also, Joe is, standing in the shadow of a giant.
True. Yeah.
I mean, it's very hard to, and the same thing happened with PC and everybody, you see it where these guys will come in onto a proven motorcycle that everybody knows can win, and they just can't quite get it together. And then the pressure of the situation is weighing down on them.
Yeah, because those Hondas, I mean, they are nice bikes. I loved riding AJ's around like that. That was just a fun bike to ride. I am a Suzuki fan, but I'm also a realist. I love the Hondas, and I'm just dying and hoping that I love the Ducati.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I don't know. Just sometimes Shimoda just really like, oh man, this drives me crazy sometimes. But
can you think of anybody else, Dave, that is akin to what Shimoda is now? Somebody that used to be just like that?
AC.
Yeah, that's exactly who I was thinking of.
Yeah, AC's like that, and don't get me wrong, I love AC. That's my boy. Love him to death. Super big fan, but like AC's like that. I mean, one could argue Forkner to an extent. I mean, Forkner has maybe more speed, a bit more aggression, and maybe more wins. But yeah, he's susceptible to some of the same issues. His crash is just a lot bigger. You could say any one of the guys that KTM picked up in the last 5 to 7 years that were like a flash in the pan, for a few decent seasons in amateur, then got picked up by KTM, and then they fell by the wayside.
I was thinking Jalek Swoll. He suffers a lot.
Jalek Swoll, and the guy is a uber talent, Jamie. I mean, the things this guy can do, and even in amateurs, he was a kid that won Loretta's A class and got I think he got the the sportsman title or whatever that award is, the Horizon Award.
The Nicky Hayden Horizon Award.
Yeah, yep. I think he got that one and a couple others, man. And it just seems like he can't put together. And even last weekend, he was top 3, I think, wasn't he? For a good while, and then just didn't put it together, which is unfortunate because he's making that bike look really good in practice. But it's tough. I mean, you got to imagine some of the hype and some of the pressure on them too. It's got to compound that a little bit more, but still, it's like, man, you guys are pros, man. Let's go,
But they're still kids. Can't forget that they're pros, but they're kids.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for joining us again. This is the TCE Live Supercross Watch Party Seattle edition. I'm joined by some amazing guests. Team Creo's very own team principal, curator, and probably should be racer because he's that fast. Jeff Thatcher, Moto Academy's very own driver, Jamie, and one Mr. Tony, the COO, and the looks behind the Moto Academy. All a bunch of good buddies of mine. Love these guys to death. They're killers. And they're joining us and watching some racing live. Don't forget, you guys can go into the chat and even in the description, use those promo codes to save yourself some money. Those are amazing sponsors. And don't forget, guys, you can also go behind the scenes with the collective experience in a variety of roles. You can hang out and just be a VIP, or you can work with hands-on and badass people like Jeff Crutcher, like Driver Jamie, like Tony, and get your start into the industry and things like mechanic support, content creation, and so much more. The proceeds goes to guys like this. We're raising funds for the privateers while you guys get an amazing experience like no other. The collectivexp.com. Use a promo code, the Moto Academy, to save. You're going to be spending the money anyway on passes and tickets and food. Might as well get a better package, all access, cooler people, killer connections, and have it last more than just a weekend, guys. I mean, come on, it's a no-brainer. Sign up and help out these guys and support the people that need it. Let's go.
I have to say, Dave, where were you when I was a kid?
I wish I had this when I was a kid.
That's what I'm saying.
This would have been amazing.
I could have did this instead of having a struggle. And holy cow! I watched some of the people you brought in, and it's amazing what you do. I would love to have been. I'd love to be a kid now and get those tickets and just enjoy what you get to show these people what they get to see. It's unbelievable.
And we spoil them, Jamie. You know they're getting spoiled. So
especially when your planes don't show up.
Yeah. That logistics has been a killer for us the last couple of seasons. I will say that. That's been an absolute pain in the ass. So hopefully that's not going to be a problem for the rest of the season. But these things do tend to happen. I'm super stoked on it, and I just want to keep helping more people and doing some cooler stuff. 450 heat number 1 is out there. There's been a lot of talk about Eli Tomac today, with conditions being maybe a little on the sloppier side, and him sort of hitting that point where he usually hits his stride a little bit in around the halfway, maybe a little bit later in the season. What do you guys think as far as Tomac goes? Do you think he's going to be somebody that surprises us tonight, or do you think this is more?
I'd like to say one thing on that. And
go ahead.
But what everybody saw in Daytona was the same thing I saw when Carmichael beat McGrath. You saw the changing of the guard.
Ooh.
You absolutely saw it. You saw it live.
That is a claim.
It's fact. You're gonna watch. I don't see, and I don't want to see McGrath. I love McGrath. I don't want to see his rookie record be broken, but it's gonna be.
Oof, yeah, that's a tough one. I'm a very big fan of Eli Tomac, and it's tough, especially when you got to hear like he's the old guy and the dude's like 30. You know what I mean? It's like, geez, man, come on. But I don't know. I think he's such a force. Tomac is such a powerful rider that it's almost like, man, like how is he not winning right now against these guys? You know what I mean? Like you watch him ride and you're like, how can Jet and Sexton and JA, how can they go any faster?
Well,
I
tell you saw the changing in the guard, and my prediction for tonight, Hunter gets a top 5.
Ooh, strong. Strong. I will say, I thought he would have a top 5 a lot sooner than what he had.
Oh,
I would agree.
Like, some of his rides, I don't know, man.
Here's the bad part about the Suzuki.
Yeah. So a couple notes here is that before we came back after that last commercial break, I counted there were 13 Yamahas in the last in the second 250 heat.
Ooh, what is happening? Having some technical difficulties with the KTM. That's very rare.
Yes, that's really bizarre. Now the thing is I mean, I was just about to say how awesome is Sexton, and I like to see the KTM up front, and boom, killed the bike right there.
Yeah,
and it's so odd because he can't get the. Notice how he he's letting go of the starter button too fast. That was on Chase because you could see him push the button and then rip the throttle. He kept pushing the button and ripping the throttle. He wasn't waiting for the bike to
throttle open even.
Yeah, that was weird. He wasn't waiting.
Wide open.
Yeah. Huh. Well, that'll be cool if Hunter gets a heat win. He's due for something. Anything.
Yeah, I think so too. I thought because he's a more calm, collective rider than Jet is. He doesn't have a lot of that new guy energy, that he would just come out blasting and be smooth operator, top 4s, top 3 by now, just a little on the sneakier side.
Oh, hold on to it, brother. You know what? I think that we just can't compliment these guys. I think the track is about to get too tricky to be complimenting people because we're going to curse them.
I mean, my money is usually on Sexton top 3 every time.
That's smart money right there.
Every time.
That's smart money.
So I noticed also that Kalitsian, man, he was in front of Masterpool. He was up there for a minute, but fell back outside of position. Also, I noticed that Harmon made it in. I don't know who got hurt, but somebody didn't line up because Cheyenne qualified 41st.
I haven't heard Luke Kalitsian's name since Loretta's 2018.
Is Stanky on a 2-stroke?
Yep.
What's that?
Stanky still on the 2-stroke?
Kalitsian?
No, Stanky.
Oh, Stanky. Yeah. He's on the 252 stroke, the TCE.
That's what I just saw his name, so I wasn't sure.
That dude is, I mean, the pits are always rocking when he's there, and he's such a nice dude, man.
Incredible nice guy.
Super nice. Complimented my thick thighs and said, "You know what? I like you the way the weight you are, Dave." And I said, "Thank you." I appreciate that, stank dog.
They're childbirthing thighs, Dave. They're good for you.
Exactly. In case I want to,
change it up a little bit.
Yeah, man. Why not? Oh goodness. But yeah, this is this would be a kind of a confidence boost, I think, for Hunter Lawrence, man. Like, I'm happy that he had the run that he had in 250s. I just wish it came a little bit sooner. But maybe that's the way he is, man. Maybe he just gets a late start here and there and figures things out.
Well, don't forget he had all the injuries too. I mean, he was the older brother coming from Europe, and he's the one who, I mean, he literally, like, I guess you could say, paved the way with his body. Yeah. I mean, he took some serious injuries and some serious beatings.
He did. Yeah, you can't discount that. Yeah, he kind of Iron Man'd it out a little bit, to be honest with you. So, yeah, I'm stoked to see him out front. I think it's gonna be really good for him. I'm wondering what you guys think of riders like Barsha, AC, maybe even like Jason Anderson here or there. He hasn't really had the rides that we would expect out of him this season. Do you think that these guys are a little bit jostled or rocked in their head by the entry of Hunter Lawrence, Jet Lawrence, and the prominence that Jet's had? What do you think is kind of hindering those guys from the rides that we typically see them with? We'll start with you, Crutcher. What are your thoughts, man?
I'm so sorry, Dave. I was reading a text message. I failed the assignment entirely. Can you repeat your question?
No worries. Riders like Barsha, AC, some of those guys like JA, like they haven't had the season that I think they would have expected. Do you think it's because of the Lawrence brothers and like the entry of Jet and Hunter that's kind of like messing with them a little bit? Maybe more so Jet, obviously.
I don't know. That's a good question. That's one that just answering it would be pure speculation, and I hate doing that. Dude, who knows what these guys are thinking? It's I don't know. I think we'll see some 450 class changeover though. I think things will be different next year as far as who's riding what motorcycle for who and where, if at all. I think that there's going to be a lot of difference next year.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I have to say, like, I agree with that too. You never know if someone's riding injured. You never know like what's going on in the personal life. You have no idea. I mean, I personally think what Crutcher just said. I think we're in a changeover era where I know 30's not old, but 30's old, and you have these new guys coming in that are just like, I mean, just when we saw, like, well, you guys didn't see it, but like when Rick Johnson, Jeff Stanton, and all those guys changed over, you're starting to see that again now. It's just another changeover that's coming, and the younger guys are coming up, and it's great to see. I think you'll still see some of them around for a while, like Jason. I think you'll see him for a while, Barsha, but I don't think Eli's going to be staying much longer. I think he's probably getting ready to enjoy his family.
I wonder if some of it plays into like the social media component too, though, because as soon as somebody tries to like take out somebody like the Lawrence brothers or anybody who's young and on top, like if Barsha did Jet dirty at one point, or Hunter even, like what how that would blow up in social media, and then everybody would be after Barsha. So maybe they're playing the I doubt it, but playing the conservative role of not getting blasted through media.
Diplomatic approach almost.
Yeah. I don't know though. I don't know.
Oh, interesting.
That's a good look.
God, that bike looks good, dude. That Ducati.
Oh, I'm telling you, that's the dream bike right there.
Yeah, good looking bike. You know, they just his Lupino just won the first moto in the Italian motocross nationals yesterday.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Is Lupino on the Ducati?
Yeah, him and Cairoli. Yeah, he went 1-7. I didn't see what Cairoli did. I don't know. I don't think he's not racing it, but I know he was there riding it. But anyway, all right, boys. Dave, I told you I was going to be here for 2 heat races. I stuck around for 3. I got to get out of here.
Appreciate you, sir. Yeah, I owe you a couple texts and stuff getting prepped for next weekend. So appreciate the time, sir. We love you guys. Be sure to follow Team Creo this season. At Rip and Ruts and at Creo.ktm. Correct. Right.
Creo.ktm. Yep.
Creo.ktm on Instagram, guys. This team is doing amazing things. Check out their content. Check out their awesome sponsors, and just tune in because I'm guaranteeing you're gonna learn a few things from this guy. Thanks, Jeff. We will chat with you soon, man. And guys, this is the guy right here. Keep an eye on him.
See you again. Take care.
Later.
We'll see you. So as Jet Crutcher makes his soiree off, guys, be sure to hit that chat. We've got some heavy hitters still here as my guests, 2 dudes that are near and dear to my heart. Please be sure to send in the questions. Let me know how many of you are here from the Moto Academy. We love the fact that the new app is rolled out. It's super a lot more comprehensive, a lot better than the other one. I was always on AJ's ass about, dude, it is not allowing me to do this. The app won't let me do this. Why can I only do 30-second replies to people when they DM me? It was driving me insane. This new setup is phenomenal. Tony, we'll start with you. What's the new rollout been like for the app, man?
It's been wild. So we did a beta test, like a 7-day beta test before we actually rolled it out to the public, and that was extremely helpful. And we could get everybody's input real time, what works, what doesn't work, and then what's too much, what's not enough. So it really helped us make the app more succinct because you can go bananas with like all of the additives that you can throw on the app. So I think we got it to a really good point by way of help of our beta testers. We had about 50 of them within the app, so that was huge. But yeah, it was a lot of work. We had to grind it out for 4 weeks straight, and that's all we focused on as a team. And I think we came out on the other end in a way better spot than we were 4 weeks prior to that. So it was good. It was a good experience, good learning experience, and I think we're in a really good spot.
I absolutely love it. I still have a lot to learn. I didn't complete my checklist yet. As a new app user, Jamie, what's one of your favorite new things that you're excited about with this new app, or maybe some things that have been going on that are just going to be even better now? Like, what's one of your favorite aspects of the whole?
Well, of course, I love the group chat and I love the direct messages. But I mean, just the fact that as an older gentleman, I am 52, definitely the oldest guy on the team, and sometimes technology, is painful to me, especially computers. This app is very, very, very easy to use. So of everything on the app, I think what I like the most about it is how easy it is to use. Like it's the old app was nice. I know no major problems, but I had to do a lot of learning. It was a learning curve for me. This one, I can communicate better with everybody. It's just such an easier one to work with. And I mean, to find the videos are so much easier too. It's like you can actually find stuff. We have a search bar. I mean, it's just, as like I said, as the older person who doesn't really like to advance with technology, I'm that old guy that complains, I still like, rocks and pushing them. This is a lot easier to use, and I really do enjoy being on it. Like, it's one of the few apps that I sit on pretty much all day.
I love that. And Grant Eckhart, one of the alumni of the program and the number one videographer within the app, his dad's on, Mr. Ralph Eckhart, and he's saying
Wow.
if he can use
What's
if
up, Ralph?
Ralph is saying if he can use the app, then anybody can. But Ralph's a genius. He just doesn't like to admit it. He's super humble. But yeah, shout out to all the Eggharts, man. They're such good people. They're signed up for the program for Gillette. So guys, I mean, people are signing up. You should too. Use the promo code the Moto Academy in the link below to save. You're going to be at the races anyway. Might as well do it with the big boys and have fun. So I'm excited to get them at the race. Gillette's going to be an absolute banger. It's a home race for pretty much all of us. It's the closest one to all of us. So I'm pretty excited about that one. Tony, I'm so excited you.
Dave, I'm excited about our new one.
Oh yeah, that's yours. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, the Philly.
That's Philadelphia's backyard, man. I just can't wait.
Philly is closer to you. See, I was trying to pull you over to New England, Jamie. I was just trying to bring you in as one of our own.
Dave, I love your area, but I'm not going from cold to absolute miserable cold. I want to go from cold to warm.
Yeah, I hear that, and no matter where Tony moves to, he's always going to be from New York in my mind. So that's that. So it's his home race too. He can run, but he can't hide from his roots. So, you're there with us, buddy.
Yes, sir.
So go ahead.
Is this an appropriate platform to talk about how you got the collective experience started? Or no?
Oh, for sure. I don't think I've ever talked about that on the watch party. I mean, probably not even on my channel, period. But yeah, as we're watching the Heat 2 of the 450s out there. So for those of you guys that don't know, I'm pretty sure everyone's aware, but like I grew up racing with AJ since we were kids. Our dads are close buddies. They're both named Tony. They both live like 20 minutes from each other, and AJ and I just grew up racing together. And one year when I was in college, because like when it came time to decide, am I going to try to, be a chase points and maybe by some hope of God get a pro license, or should I go to college? I was like, you know what? I'm getting beat by all my friends. I should probably go to college. And
good choice.
I was on. Yeah, I was because they were demolishing me. I mean, I think if Pat's in the comments, he knows he beat me a bunch of times. But I was on break in college, and AJ was racing MetLife, and I went and hung out with him at a race, just catching up. And we were on doing track walk, and he was kind of telling me like all the struggles of being a privateer, and I had no idea. Just like everybody else, I thought, oh, if you're a pro racer, you're making tons of money. You got sponsors, and it's a blast. But he really showed me all the struggles he has, and how he's like, man, I'm living meal by meal. If I'm lucky, I have to save this, and all my money's coming from this, and like I'll be lucky if I get a hotel room after to be able to get a good night's sleep. And I was like, holy crap. And I was thinking, I'm like, man, that's way different. I'm like, the experience that I had, walking the track and hanging out with AJ, which kind of take for granted sometimes. I'm like, like I really enjoy it as a fan. It gets me closer to the sport. It's super fun. I enjoy like the connections I get to make, being in that around those type of people. And I was like, it would be great if we could offer this to people as well. And then the money that we raise goes to privateers like AJ. And I just spitballed the idea out with AJ a little bit. And he was like, I think that'd be a really cool idea. Too bad it never worked, with Supercross and Feld and all this stuff. And I didn't let it go. I kept chasing it and kept emailing, and I kept hearing no until I heard like the right kind of like half of a yes. And then worked with some teams and got some sponsors on board. And slowly it turned into the fan experience that we have. It was a much more rudimentary setup. And then we thought about, like a lot of people that we're bringing in as fans, they're asking about, how do I get a job here? How do I get on the track, like part of the medical crew? How do I work for a gear company? And we're like, we know so many people. Like we know this guy to hand a resume to. We know this person who works in the medical field on the track. Why don't we set up an internship program where we could, pay these guys for their time and have them be shadowed by people who want to be what they are. And it we started it 1 year as like a lottery almost, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger and blew up to what it is now. And we started the YouTube channel. We've got more sponsors on board. We've been on, promoted on Pulp MX and Gypsy Tales and all this other stuff back and forth for a number of years now. And it just keeps getting bigger. We're helping more and more people. And it's to the point now, Tony, we're walking through the pits, and I'm waving at least one or two people on every team that has come through the program. that are like, "Hey, Dave." I'm like, "Oh man, he was our intern in 2020, or that guy was our blah 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 this time." And we're super proud of how many people we've been able to help and introduce to people like like AJ and like driver Jamie, and even yourself when you came to Atlanta, Tony, and like just all the different teams we've had the pleasure of working with. And like I think over some stat like over 80% of our interns that join the program end up getting some pretty killer jobs in the industry, man. And like it's crazy. Like one of our interns works for Stu on his podcast, but that's like my dream job. And we have a couple other guys that opened up their own suspension shops because they had so many connections on their first day of joining the program. So no, it's been awesome, and I love what it's become, and I just want to keep making it bigger and bigger. We're planning to get into other forms of racing as well. So I just want to keep making it grow bigger and bigger, and doing some cool stuff with the Moto Academy with all you guys, and seeing how many people we can help.
Dave, I know you want this to grow. So someone like me who's technologically challenged, if I wanted to share your podcast, how would I share it?
So basically, all you got to do is go to the Collective Experience YouTube channel. You'll notice it because it's my super colorful, spangly logo. The top right hand, you'll see share. The copy the URL for it, and you can share that to any social media. You can share that to your Facebook, share that to your Instagram. The more people that know about the program, the better, because it's helping out guys like AJ, guys like Cade Clayson, Kevin Morans, Josh Greco, Dave Pulley, Henry Miller, Justin Starling, all these guys. Like it's helping them out big time. And we do work with bigger teams. We worked with the Club MX guys. We work with anyone that's an FXR athlete. We usually we get some inroads with them. We've worked with people on Hep Suzuki before. I mean, you guys name it, we can usually make it happen within reason. So yeah, it's been great. But yeah, I mean, follow us on the collective at the collective EX on Instagram, thecollectivexp.com. We're there. Promo codes are below. We're always sharing promo codes. We're always giving people connections and hookups. And once you're in the program, you're in the program for life. You're part of the family. So people that are past interns hit me up. They're like, "Hey man, I need a signed blah, blah, blah from somebody." I'm like, "All right, yeah, let me see what I can do." It's on their doorstep like a week later, So we always try to help out people wherever we can.
Well, if you can help me, can you send me to school to learn how to work on those Desmo engines? When they come into Supercross, get me to school to learn. I want to learn those things.
Because AJ's going to be bougie, and he's going to want one of those Ducatis.
Absolutely. So I mean, I'd like to know how to fix it when he breaks it.
The guy that races in Gucci bracelets, he's going to want a Ducati.
The guy who comes off the track and tells all his fans, "I'm very gentle on bikes."
Yeah. I really never used the clutch.
No, that's what you replaced it.
That guy, man. Ugh. Oh man. So driver Jamie, you've had a pretty unique look at the sport from like a really high level exclusive aspect. Like, talk to us a little bit about what it's like to be around the Lawrences, watching them train, the way that they interact. Like, what's that been like?
So as a kid, I grew up, loving McGrath. Even before him, Ricky Johnson, Johnny O'Mara, who actually trains with the Lawrences. But like, I always wondered, like I grew up reading magazines. There wasn't no social media, so I'd read the magazines. I'd be wondering, man, how do these people, how do they really live?
Yeah.
And you had the movie like Steel Roots come out, and I'm thinking, oh, I wonder that's how he really lives. But like, when you get to know them, they're just normal people. Mm-hmm. Like they really are. I mean, with normal people to a point. Like I always call them, there's A riders, there's expert riders, and then there's aliens. People like Jet, Hunter, Eli, AJ, they're aliens. They're not normal. They don't think normal. They don't ride normal. Their brain doesn't work normal. I mean, the stuff they do on track that I watch them do is just absolutely ridiculous. And the fact that they can literally sit there and tell you, "Hey, there's a spoke loose," and know it's like a front spoke. And it's like, wow. Like, I mean, they're literally aliens. And to be able to, the person I appreciated most the entire time I was down there was Dazzy, which is Lawrence's father. Not only is he just one hell of a nice guy and willing to share his knowledge, he might be the most knowledgeable person I've ever met in my life. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if when this was over, he decided to go work for Formula One. Like he's that good. Like he's not one of those dads that just yells at the kid and says, "Oh, come on, go faster. Your lap time's a minute off."
Yeah.
I was watching him do just as much work as Renee. Renee's the practice mechanic. Like he would be ripping out one, like if Renee was on Hunter's bike, Jazzy would be on Jet's or vice versa, ripping the entire suspension off, pulling a motor out, putting a new motor in. I mean, like, or engine, forgive me. And those guys were just, they might be the luckiest boys on earth, not because of talent or anything like that, but just because they have a father and a family behind them that are incredible. And then, like, when you get to meet the family, like the brother Tate, I love Tate. Me and Tate still Snapchat, and just down to earth, good people that it makes you realize that they never forgot their roots, and it's still like going to your local track. I mean, they're just good guys, But then when you get to a pro race, they go from just the normal human beings to superstars, rock stars.
Yeah. Yep. That's so. Like, what are some of the things you think that Desi does that like sets him apart from the other moto families or moto dads or like what is it?
I have a story he told me. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say it, but worst they can do is fire me, right? So there was a part, I'm not even going to say the part. There was a part on one of the brothers' bikes that was affecting low end, and Honda couldn't figure it out. Dazzy made a call to the Formula One team, and they built this part out of whatever material they used, and it was unbelievable. And it's just for him to have the knowledge of like, okay, well, this is the part that we need to have fixed. He's unreal. Like, I mean, the boys will come off the track and say, the bike did this or this. Okay, he automatically he doesn't even ask. He just knows what to change. Like, I mean, I know he has a lot of experience, but like, he's just so, he has to be, I mean, other than our boy Dan, Dazzy might be the smartest mechanic on the planet.
Jeez. That's phenomenal. Be able to like understand that level. I mean, I design bikes as my day job, and there's some days where I'm like, I don't know what the hell's wrong with this bike, man. Like, it's an easy, like air cooled, like TTR. I have one in my garage, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm spent, man. I'm gonna go inside. We're gonna work on it tomorrow. But that takes another level of perception and understanding and like engineering, man. That's a lot.
Yeah, it really is. Like I've never seen anything like it. I mean, he's just. And I don't know what his background is as far as engineering or mechanics or whatever, or it's just pure, growth mindset, hard work. Like, I don't know what it is, but all I know is when I watched him there for the weeks I was down there, as much as I love watching the boys ride, I love watching his intelligence fix the bikes.
Yeah. That's pretty incredible, man. Like to be able to have that in your back pocket and that also be your dad who's like cheering you on and getting you through the race day. That's pretty incredible.
And he wasn't just with the boys. Like he would help out AJ. He would talk out to the other kids there. I can't think of who was the little redhead kid that just won the Futures race. I can't think of his name.
Adams.
Adam. Yeah. Nate. Yeah. Or Drew.
Drew Adams.
He was one of the kids down there, and Dazzy would tease with him. Like they're like that family is just an incredible family.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think it's pretty incredible of them. We did a bet with Jet video a couple years ago, and that was super fun, man. We got the dad involved, we got Jet involved. I had to end up eating crow and dress up in full garb that had Jet's face on it head to toe. Nice. And he even made a point to saying that it had to be super tight, which I think he did on purpose. So
show those thighs.
It's the thighs, man. He wanted to see the thighs, Like you could have just asked me, man, But yeah, it was super funny. Yeah, but they're just so down to earth and really happy people, man. Like loved it.
Actually, the whole community, like you're saying, what's it like? It is just like when you're racing as kids. Everybody yeah, it's a sport, it's a business, but a lot of people are like family, just because they're on a different color bike, there's still people, like you said, that you got into the business, they'll still come up to you and say hi, it's like, and they'll give you a hug, and it's just, so to answer the question, what's it like? It's just like growing up and enjoying your life, your childhood dream. I guess that would be what it's like.
That's epic. That's epic. I love that. Let's see. Going back to the chat, Welcome to everybody that's on here. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Of course, we got Moto Academy's very own driver Jamie, and of course, we got Tony himself. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Don't forget that we're going to do the mains live in the Moto Academy app, the new 2.0 app. We're probably gonna do that every single time we do a watch party. We'll do the heats and LCQs here, and then we're going to do everybody migrate over to the Moto Academy app and watch the mains over there, where you guys are going to be able to pop in with us too. So as we're talking, we're going to throw different members of the Moto Academy on and be able to chat with us and have a good time, be able to ask the guys the questions, and maybe see if we can bring some pros over with us as well. So no promises, but we'll see. I mean, who really needs more than driver Jamie, man? I mean, come on, you guys know it already. You guys already know.
Dave, I listen. You can say what you want, but we all know who your favorite Moto Academy member is.
Who do you think it is?
Oh, it's the Canadian.
It's the. You know what? He does have a special place in my heart, man. Like, but I honestly, I talk to Jackson more than I talk to my fiance, which is so sad.
Oh my god, I would kill myself.
And if anyone got a hold of our messages, their immediate thought would be, "Oh, that's really weird. These two guys are cheating on their poor girlfriends with each other. Oh my goodness."
Yeah, Jackson's one of my favorites. I just hate the fact that he's 3 hours behind us, and when I go to bed at midnight, and it's only 9 o'clock wherever the hell he lives, and
he's still messaging you.
And we're doing a group text. It's like, for the love of God, Jackson, go to bed.
Oh, you gotta love it, right?
And I guess I don't know what it is in his family, but when they send a text, they send it, if they're gonna say the Honda won the bike or won the race, that's 5 text messages right there. You can't put that in one sentence. That's the send, Honda send, one send, the send, race.
Canadians,
that's how Jackson texts.
They're so weird.
They are.
They're a weird bunch. Oh man, that's awesome. Oh, let's see. Going back to the chat, we got Jaron here. We got Metamoto.
Meadow
is your Max. We got Jer in here. We got Mike McSwain. We got Bobby, the alumni himself, Ralph Eckhart. We got the CEO, our Vens. Let's see, Mike McSwain. I think I said Bunny Man, of course, always a staple. We appreciate all of you guys tuning in, checking in with us, and interacting. I'm stoked for this race. I think it's going to be a really good set of main events. The LCQs, however, are going to be another story. I always ask this, guys, and for some reason, Tony, we can't see you for whatever reason. Maybe your camera's turned off.
He's like, it's nobody's business over here.
But let's see. I think Tony went. He went ghost on us, but we'll get it fixed. But in your opinion, driver Jamie, and we could throw you in too, Tony. What do you think of the 250 versus 450 LCQs? Which one would you rather be in, and which track?
Oh, what would I rather be in or rather watch?
Rather be in. If you had to race an LCQ, would it be 250 or 450?
I guess 250 because it'll hurt less when I hit the ground.
250?
Just for the sake of hitting the ground, it's gonna hurt less. But the 450, it's, oh man, I would never want to be in an LCQ. I know, just watching the few times we had to get it last season, we had a couple direct transfers, but when AJ's in the LCQ, it's just so nerve wracking. It's just like, yes. I never, true story. Last season, I didn't see one race live. All I counted was positions and the number 330 going by. I didn't see one live race. Every race I saw when I went home and watched it on TV on rerun. Oh,
goodness gracious! And
but if I had to be in an LCQ, I just probably the 250, only because at least you have a little bit better of a chance, I would say, because there's some a little bit less experienced guys there. The 450s are packed. I mean, you have guys there that have been racing forever. That like when you see Cian Cirillo or Barsha in an LCQ, or even Kate Gleason, I mean, these guys are great riders, and they're going in LCQs. It's like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, no, I hear that. It's getting so stacked. And for me personally, I would pick the 450 LCQ, and that's only because generally those guys know each other pretty well. They've been racing each other for a long time. They know the ins and outs. So like that's always solid. However, the 250s, those guys are kind of the opposite. Like they're new to the sport usually, or new to this this realm of the sport, the pro ranks. A lot of them are trying to prove themselves, and a lot of them have a lot of pressure on them, like lots on the line if they don't make it, right? So watching them like knock each other off their bikes or completely cut the track to blow each other off of the berm, or like just revving and just going crazy, I would much rather have a 450 LCQ than 250. Those guys are out for blood in 250s. You end up in the hospital. And the
450s are safer because, like you said, the guys all want to make a living. They all know what it's like to be a privateer. The 250, they're all just trying to make a name for themselves, and it's I mean, like I was just being funny. It's like the 250 weighs less than when it hits me on the ground. But
that one I do agree on. So, and I know I will hit the ground. So,
I'll be happy to make it through turn one.
Exactly. Oh man, that'd be funny.
Dave, what's your opinion on? I don't know how true it is. I heard MXGP is gonna consider putting an electric. I'm watching the Stasics commercial. I heard MXGP is going to put in a electric class. What do you think about the AMA having in Supercross horsepower regulation for the Starks?
I think.
And will they ever get in?
I think that'll be pretty cool. I mean, I could see it being like a really cool, like a one-off, almost like how they do with like the futures, you know, like maybe like
but you don't think it'll be like Ducati or anybody coming in? Like you don't think do you see in the future Starks racing?
Oh, for sure. I definitely, the way that things are moving, the way battery technology is, I had a electric bike in the works to bring to market for a while. And, I mean, it just, the opportunity there is just, it's nuts. You can do so much with these bikes and make them so tunable and so tractable. In my opinion, I think, it's only a matter of time. It really is. The only thing I will say caveat to that is like, yeah, I think it would be cool to do it almost like how we do the futures, but I want to see it legitimized with the other bikes. So it's more prominent. I know, and you guys know how amazing these electric bikes are. The Starks are phenomenal. The Dust Moto that's coming out is going to be great, especially when those guys figure out to do like a little bit bigger power plant. We know Honda has one, Triumph has one, Ducati, Yamaha, they all have one. They have an electric bike. It's just a matter of time before we start seeing them and they put them out there. And I want to see them hit the ground running, kind of like Triumph did, you know, when they made their entrance a couple of weeks ago. So
is it going to be like a revolution, like when the YZ, was it the 400? Is that the first one? Yeah, the 400. Is it going to be like when the YZ 400F came in and raced Supercross with Doug Henry?
I think so. I mean, because look at how differently you guys are able to ride the bikes. I haven't ridden one personally, but like just hearing stories from you and from AJ and Coach Mitchell, it's like it completely changes the dynamic with the motorcycle. The things you can feel.
It is the easiest bike I've ever ridden by far.
Exactly. So I mean, once you kind of take a lot of the issues out of the equation that kind of make riding maybe a bit, I don't say difficult because it is a great, you know, we're so used to it, but like maybe some of the barriers for maybe going faster than we are currently, I think it's just going to be nuts. It's going to be absolutely revolutionary. I'd be very shocked if we don't see like the equivalent of like the Bubba Scrub, but like for whoop sections or for corners or something, like whatever that new thing is, it's going to revolutionize the way that we ride. Because when Stewart came out, nobody was scrubbing. Nobody was like, you know, they're soaking up jumps with their like body positioning. But look at the sport now. If you're not scrubbing, you're not in the top 10. I don't care what class you're in. There's 85 C riders that are scrubbing, you know? So I definitely think that it's coming. It definitely is.
Would you miss the sound? I know I would. As an old school guy, I mean, I still miss the sound of two strokes.
I would miss the sound. I'd miss the sound. I'd miss the smell. One of the greatest things to me is getting up, going to Southwick, 100%. And the minute you park your car, you can smell the VP burning. I miss hearing a really well-tuned two-stroke just revving out with like C12 in it and just sparking. That will always be a sound that is, you know, and if my fiance put on VP as like a perfume
She'd be pregnant every 9 months.
every 9 months, you'd have to pull me off of her, you know.
You'd have a plan.
You're like, Dave needs a hobby.
He has one.
Yes. But
I-
I'm gonna miss it. But think about how cool it would be. Like now we could have like custom like DJs playing during the races and stuff like
That is cool.
that, or maybe even like Cardo systems. Like we could all be talking to each other, and like it could be cool, man.
I wonder though. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got you.
I wonder if if the U.S. moves towards electric, like if the Supercross tracks, like the features will change up and the tracks will be like elongated just because there's so much damn speed with these bikes and so much power that like you to go around a Supercross track on say a Stark at even 60 horsepower is insane. Like that's a whole bunch of power, a whole bunch of torque. And
I
you're
don't think
gonna
anybody would lose a whole shot with an electric bike.
you do or don't.
I know I'm with you, Tony. I'm saying the electric bikes are so fast that I don't think off the start any combustion bike would beat it off the start.
Oh, for sure not. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. But like in Europe, don't they have fully dedicated electric races? Like
They have
series and
cars.
stuff?
They have the Formula One E series, but I don't know about bikes.
The Isle of Man had an electric class, and I think they're toying around with MotoGP, like one of not Moto 3, but like
Interesting.
one of them were supposed to be like an electric hybrid deal because they went from the KTM 2-strokes to the KTM 4-strokes, and now I think they're toying with the idea of going electric, which the KTM 4-strokes, those little 250s, those things can haul the mail. But those things, dude, they were so fast. I went to a Moto America event at what's the track out there in Wisconsin, driver Jamie?
Not Moto America. Or not Road America.
Road America.
Oh, it's
there it is.
Texas. No, it is
No,
Road America, yeah.
Yeah, Road America. And watching like the Juniors Cup where those guys are racing like the R3s and stuff like that.
Yep.
Holy crap, were they fast? But like looking, and it was a spec class almost. So it's like everyone's like the bikes have to be stock up to a certain point. And watching the KTM's versus everyone else, it wasn't even fair. It was almost
I know what you mean. I went to Jersey to watch them. They're right next to Field of Dreams, and wow, you're right. Yeah. They are just. It's not fair.
Heads and tails. Actually, so I did a Yamaha champ school at that track, Jamie, and I rode with a couple of Yamaha champs, and dude, I got waxed at that track. Those guys, like I was just there for training, so I'm coming down the straightaway like 100 miles an hour. I'm like, oh my god, this is flying. All of a sudden, I see her right by me, and I'm like, holy shit, these guys break at the last second, and they're just constant throttle through like these chicanes, and I'm like, dude, I'm like signaling, going through the corner. I got elbows up. I'm like, and these guys were just hauling the mail.
Have you seen the clips of these MotoGP guys going balls out into a turn and then they just lift their back wheel up because they're braking? It's insane.
It's nuts. It's
Dave,
nuts.
if you want to see the greatest video I ever saw with MotoGP, just type in "getting passed by Valentino Rossi."
Oh, geez,
on YouTube. There's this guy who's like an expert rider, and he's having a time of his life on this track, and his GoPro looks like he's flying.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you see Rossi come by him on the outside, and he almost crashed. He was so scared. Like Rossi comes flying by him like the guy was on a bicycle. And it's just amazing
crazy
the speed they have.
Rossi was like a different breed. It's so scary to me, like how his heart rate was like 80s, 90s, when everyone else like 150, 160, 170, and he's just cruising around like it's nothing,
Yeah.
Just
having a day.
Just scary, man.
Oh, it is. I mean, my heart goes to 150 when I need a beer. I can, I don't know how the hell he can do it. Like,
that's hilarious. Oh man, a lot of people in the chat are saying we should probably give them their own the electric bikes their own class or like their own segment at the races. Maybe not mix them up to kind of keep things maybe on the more fair side, because the electric bikes do have so much torque. The starts are like you can't really compare and stuff like that. Like, what do you guys think of that aspect of like not really integrating them into the mainstream?
I disagree only because we did it with the 4-stroke. And I was so mad when we did it. I was so mad when the Yamaha came out with the 400 and they got the race with the 2-strokes, and they made the stupid rules up just for weight. You know, the 120, you could only have a 125 2-stroke to race a 250 4-stroke. It should be a 250 2-stroke for a 250 4-stroke. That's how it should be. If we're doing cubic centimeters, you know what I mean? Let's just do CCs, not so if it was good for the 4-stroke manufacturer back then to just be integrated, just I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't it called lights and open classes, or is it 250, 450 now? I forgot what it's called.
It's 250 and 450 now.
Okay, but GP is open, right? Don't they do the when you do the nations, it's 250, 450, and open.
And open, yeah, they have that. Yeah, the MX1,
So,
MX2, and then open.
Yeah, open means you can bring whatever you got.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm on the opposing side as Jamie. I think electric should have their own class. I mean, it's a totally different class. Like instantaneous power versus torque. Like the electric bike is just in a different category than any combustion engine could possibly be. And the only thing you really have to worry about is basically your charge percentage. With an electric bike versus your gas percentage versus like your pistons on a combustion engine. Like there's so many more pieces moving in an actual engine. So I think it would be more entertaining to have a bunch of, call it Starks or electric bikes in one class, and then you have your combustion engines in a totally different class. Like it would be I feel like that'd be far more entertaining.
That could be. I could see both avenues there.
Well, I don't know. What do you think, Dave?
No, I mean, I could see both, honestly. Like I said before, I'm kind of leaning more towards what driver Jamie said, and like integrating them to drive that legitimacy up with with this electric segment, because I think they are going to be so groundbreaking and so revolutionary, and like, and not even at like the pro level, but think about what it'll do for the sport now that we've got kids and parents that are like, oh, I don't have to do motor rebuilds. I don't have to have this extensive knowledge of motor repair. I could literally just buy one, plug it in like I plug in my cell phone, hose it off, and then we're done. You know, like that takes away so many barriers of entry, as well as like, holy crap, I don't have to buy my kid 8 different bikes this season or like the next 2 seasons. I can literally just buy him this one bike and like adjust suspension and then tune it as he gets a little bit faster or she gets a little bit faster. And I think, to me, that's going to be huge in terms
I think it evens out the factory stuff too, Dave, because if you think about it, like factory guys have like ECUs and stuff that, we'll never get our hands on. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So you have an electric motor, it's okay. It's fair across the board. You can set it up any way you want to. You want how much braking, how much horse, whatever. And I think it would make racing that much more level.
I think so. Yep.
That's a good point.
No, definitely. I definitely agree with that. I just think it's going to have really big repercussions in our sport down the road when we've got more people that are like, yes, I can ride in my backyard now. I don't have the ordinance people coming to kick my kid off of his dirt bike, and like people are going to be able to ride all year long a little bit easier. They're going to be able to ride earlier, be able to ride and save money so their career lasts longer, and just it's going to and 10 to 15 years, just imagine this whole new influx of like talent and more people into the sport because it's more accessible now. I think
I don't know if Christian's in this, if you can see who's in the chat, if Christian's in this or not, but I believe he's from Belgium. One of the guys are from Belgium, and they were telling us on our new app, I was talking to one, and they told me that Belgium has that track Lommel, right?
Yeah.
And they're trying to close it down for noise.
Really?
And I didn't know this. Lommel's the last track that's open in Belgium. It's the last one.
Jeez.
So now, you get the noise out of and believe me, I love the noise. Don't nobody yell at me. I'd rather hear a two-stroke all day long. I'm just saying, for the sake of the sport to survive, it's kind of. I wonder if, like, electric would be less of a headache for people trying to open tracks.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would imagine so, but the downside to electric currently, since it's so new in the U.S., is the price tag. It's so expensive. It's like you can't even get into the game with the, I guess, Stark, since we've been talking about him, for less than 13 grand. It's like $13,000 to $15,000, and that's like the top end KTM factory floor kind of like that. Like that's expensive. So
That's the A-Rider's bike.
what's that?
That's like an A-Rider bike. But I mean, you think about it,
Yeah.
like those A-kit suspensions, they're 10 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
you're
true.
spending $9,000 for a 450 and putting, your 450 is costing you at least $25,000 to be a pro racer.
Yeah, that's crazy to me, honestly. Like, I never thought I'd see the day where we're paying 15 grand for dirt bikes, and that's not even like there was a point in time, like kind of after COVID, where if you want a KTM 350 or 450, by the time you got out the door, because they weren't discounting them at all, you're paying close to 15. That once you do,
Yeah.
like, I'll grab a couple extra filters, some levers, maybe some new boots to go along with it, maybe a graphics kit, you're 15 out the door right there.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, that's insane, man. That
It's
so
crazy on how much you spend. I mean, again, it's the sport we chose. We all love it. I mean, as a kid, I remember, this will show you my age. I remember when a YZ80 was $499.
What?
Yeah, I remember that as a kid. $499 for a YZ80.
It's a good deal.
Brand new?
Brand new.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I remember when it was like, and back then that was expensive, But you look at life now. It's just you get a 450. The what they call them, the works editions.
Yep.
You're paying 13 grand.
My gosh, that's insane. I got my current 450 off of the Cowie truck when they were the season was over. It was Vegas, and they're like, "Listen, we're not using Eli's bike. Give us $5 grand for it." And I was like, "Done."
Take it.
$5 grand. Yeah. That's it.
Well, it was a loaner bike for it was shared between Bowers and Eli that year, and they never rode it, they never touched it. They did some sort of like motor work, and the frame was just there, and they're like, I was complaining about my 09 YZ450, and they're like, $5 grand, it's the end of the season, and they pretty much gave me brand new everything. So brand new top end, brand new Hinson clutch system. They took out all of his factory parts, obviously.
Yeah.
The only thing they left me was like some arbitrary Supercross mapping, which I immediately changed. I tried to ride with that thing. Awful. And then I had brand new suspension off of the Cowie shelves, brand new seat, brand new foot pegs, brand new bars, plastics, tank, like everything else was brand new, wheels, tires. Yeah, it was a pretty sweet setup. So yeah, the minute they were like, $5 grand, I was like, I'll pick it up tomorrow.
Yeah, no kidding.
I was so freaking amped.
Have you ridden the 24 KX450?
I have not, but I was actually supposed to do a ride day today to ride the new 24s, the Yamahas and Cowies, I believe, and I completely spaced on it. Woke up at like 10, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to be at like the track, and I'm like, you know what? There's no sense in rushing. I'll just catch it when it comes back. So,
well, I'll tell you what. One of the guys on our app, Pleasantly Plump, he brought. We rented the track out in Western PA called Switchback, and he brought his KX 450. I would switch to KX. That bike was so sweet. Oh my god, I loved it. I absolutely loved that bike.
What'd you like about it? What were some of the things that really did it for you?
It felt. I mean, it. I don't like the muffler. It looks kind of ugly. I'm not going to lie to you. I hate the way that muffler looks. But yeah, I mean, it looks like you're blowing a horn like a tuba. But overall, the bike felt slim, comfortable, easy to control. Power delivery was like perfect. I didn't even do a half a lap and I was clearing the jumps. Like, I absolutely felt so good on that bike.
Oh man.
The only bike I've rated higher than that is the Stark.
Sheesh.
Yeah, I would definitely consider a KX 450.
I see. I like that. Like AJ was talking to me about the Cowies for so long, and I was like, yeah, I'll think about it. I rode Cowies for a long time on amateurs, like mini bikes, 85s, 125s first year, 250s even, and I hopped on it, and the way that thing cornered, I was like, oh, I'm never going back to what I was on before. This is awesome. So yeah, I think the Cowies are really good. Plus the contingency for people out there is
Yeah, I heard about that.
really good. Really good. I mean, you don't have to be an AJ or like or Tomac or somebody to be able to make some money on the weekends.
Or a Dave Drake's.
Or you don't want that. You don't want to aspire to be Dave Drake. You'll get a whole shot and you'll lead for a lap and then you will go backwards the fastest you've ever seen.
But just think of how cool that is. You were the fastest to the front and the fastest to the back.
Right.
Who
Yeah.
can say that in one race?
Try telling that to my dad. He does not see it like that. Those were some quiet camper rides back home, let me tell you.
Oh, did you love those rides home?
I hated them. I was explaining to my fiance, she's like, she's never even knew you could race motorcycles when I first met her. And I was explaining to her, like racing back in the day, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh, did you have fun? Like, was your dad like super, super supportive? Because her family, like, she could get last place and they're giving her a trophy. And she's like, was your dad supportive? And I was like, if I rode good, yes. Like, like it depends on how practice went that day. But
you were like, he was nice twice.
Yeah. I'm like, I think I remember him saying good job once, But yeah, it's a different world, man, for moto dads out there. But yeah, it's
I remember AJ telling us the story the one time I forgot where we were, but he was telling us we were at dinner and he's like, yeah, I would win the race by 45 seconds, but I'd make a mistake. So instead of going back to my pits, I'd go the other side of the field and find somebody else I knew and sat there until my next race because my dad
100%. Yep. There a lot of Tony loved Tony Cat to death, but you did not want to be around if he was stressing or if it was a big race or if AJ, like I remember AJ crashed in practice and the kid was going to win the race by a minute anyway. There was nobody there that could hang with AJ. AJ had a bone stock bike, suspiciously stock, and literally was going to yard everybody by a minute. So he didn't even really have to go out for practice. I don't know why he was out there. He already knows these tracks like the back of his hand. I think he went down in the corner and broke a brake lever, and Tony was like going irate. And I'm like, what the heck? The dude's going to win by a minute. They might as well just give him the trophy now. You guys should just go home. I'm like, who cares? The levers are free, He was like, oh my God, this is gonna be so bad for the rest of the day. I'm like, why? Like, he doesn't even have to try. He can start backwards for all you can, Like, for me, it's gonna be a bad day. Like, I gotta haul my fat ass up these hills on a bone stock KX80. What are you talking about? But I remember racing AJ back in the day, it was just so unfair. He would race his super mini in the 250 class and just smoke everyone. I used to be so livid because my dad would be like, why did you let AJ pass you on a super mini? I'm like, because it's freaking AJ, dude.
Like, freaking faster, that's
he's
why.
Fast. What do I'm going to do? Like, oh, I'm going to stop AJ on my 4-stroke. Like, come on, dude. There's no way. And then, like, when AJ did get on big bikes, because I think I moved up a year before he did for some reason, because there's really no point in me getting beat any longer in minis. And I think like AJ raced the bike. I think we told him my 2-stroke, and AJ won like the very first race by like a minute again. And he's like, "Why don't you ride that bike like that?" I'm like, "Because I'm not AJ Catanzaro, dude."
A little different.
Yeah, it's a little different. Talent versus no talent.
It's
funny.
it?
Do you think it's because the AJ just had more seat time, or what do you think that was that separated you guys?
Yeah, AJ had a lot of seat time, and I think AJ's dad and AJ were like really early on. They're like, we want to be good at this, and AJ had like he just had a natural talent for it, and AJ's a big learner, so like he even at that age, he would like watch people and study and go to like do the camps. And I remember watching him just like really like practicing on the track, not just riding. And this is like back in the day where everyone just rode dirt bikes and tried to go fast on the track, but he was like doing the same corner over and over and over and just like playing on his motorcycle, like learning the way it like moved in the whoops and trying these different jump combinations over and over and over and jumping with one hand and, you know, trying this inside rut over and over. So I think a lot of it just came down to seat time and him just really wanting to be good and also having a natural propensity for being fast on a motorcycle. But yeah, by the time we were like 12, 13, like very few people in this country could catch AJ. You know, he was really, really a good rider. I think locally he might have gotten beat a handful of times. And even then, the guys that were beating him were like in like Jimmy D and like all these other guys, you know, like super fast Team Green kids. But yeah, we did race Barsha a lot. Barsha was a different league, man. That guy, yeah, there was no catching Barsha. There was nothing you could do with him, man. He had a really modified 85 from Honda, and that thing would rev to the moon. You weren't doing anything with Barsha.
That's awesome.
Yeah, just absolutely insane.
He was also like a gnarly rider, though, wasn't he? Like he was just no fear.
Yeah, he won Loretta's by a lot. Like he was just a very fast, like super solid kid. Like there's no catching him. We actually had Ken Roxton.
There's no way you'd want to be in this 450 LCQ.
Oh no, dude, yeah, look at the people that are in this thing.
I mean, holy crap.
Yeah, there's no way. Could you imagine like what like everyone's racing right now? Like they're thinking just like, holy crap, it's Roxton. It's Roxton. Be calm, be smooth, be chill, don't freak out. Ask him for his autograph after the race.
Yeah, really.
Oh man, like I would be so disheartened racing this thing.
I'm just saying, like some of the names I saw, it's like, you know, the normal guys that are in this have no chance of getting to the top 4.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I mean, look at who's in second, man. Masterpool. I mean, that kid is just outrageous. I've seen him do things on a bike that I didn't think were possible.
Dave, why doesn't he have a factory ride?
I don't know what it is. I think a lot of people want to see like Supercross prowess a lot mixed in with the national like outdoor style of riding. So I think they want to see people who can dominate in both. And I think he's kind of prone to injury. So a lot of teams are a little bit hesitant to give him a ride.
I find it amazing because like nothing against AC, I like AC, but like, you know, he's literally hurt every year, you know, and then Austin Forkner, he's hurt every year, you know.
Yeah.
This kid, I mean, I don't know. The grassroots of selling your dirt bikes is the AMA Nationals, and this kid showed he can run.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know. I know from what I hear, I heard his family's pretty nice to work with, and he seems like he's a pretty good kid. I haven't heard anything about them being like, you know, ruining his chances or anything like that. He's got that amazing facility here in Texas. That has to be a plus for a lot of teams too, you know, like the opportunity to be able to train with him there, maybe get their other riders down there. I mean, it could be a cool setup, but honestly, Jamie, I don't know, because the guy is lights out fast. I just think it comes down to injury prone, and it's just he hasn't really shown what he can really do in Supercross just yet.
Yeah.
I don't know. Guys in the chat, let me know what you think about the Master Pool deal. Do you think he deserves a ride? Which team does he deserve a ride on? And why do you think he hasn't gotten one yet? I'd love to see what people think.
I would too, because I'd like to say, like, I mean, if he's that fast outdoors, you get him a good trainer. Let's just say we stick him with Honda, you know, and you have what's his name, Johnny O'Mara, teaching him how to ride bikes the right way, or you know, or even going with like KTM and going with the Bakers, the Baker system. I just can't see him not being able to be taught how to ride Supercross.
Oh, for sure, most definitely. It'd be cool to see him like be one of the first guys on the KTM or the Ducati.
I was hoping that was going to be me. I was kind of hoping to get the first ride with Ducks, but you know, I don't think they're going to pay for the local event class, huh?
Driver Jamie first, then Master Pool.
You see the logic, right?
Yeah, it makes sense to me, man. He'd be my first pick.
Listen, I'll attract all the Harley guys when I'll be drinking a beer going around the track. They'll be like, yeah.
I was talking to a few people about some of the Harley rallies that I went to, and man, you will never forget your first Harley rally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, are they crazy?
They are crazy. I went to one when I was working for Harley. They would send us down there, the engineers down, to like talk to like like all the people at the events, and like they come by the rig and like see the new equipment and like tell you about their problems and like kind of like talk to the customer kind of deal. It was really cool. So we did a couple of them, and I was fresh out of college, man. I was like, and I wasn't a partier. I never partied in college. The crazy thing I did was like go over AJ's and like we'd like watch races or something, jump dirt bikes in the backyard. But that was it. I never was into like the party scene, drinking, all that stuff. It wasn't my scene.
Yeah.
So when I went there, I was culture shocked. I saw women being walked on leashes. I saw chicks with their stuff out. They were doing burnouts while drinking, and somebody was like licking the tire as it's spinning. I saw more guns than I have ever seen. I probably would have seen less guns at an NRA conference. I mean, the bikes that these guys customize, the most beautiful bikes you've ever seen by far. But I mean, it was weird. The chicks you saw were either like in their 60s and naked, or you were like, she should be in grade school. Why is she naked? Like it was like there was no in between. These girls were either super young or a little on the older side, where you're like, dude, that's somebody's grandma, you know?
Yep.
So like it was super shocking to me. And these guys that are just like super scary looking, like tats, like like face scars, or come up to you being like, hey man, I love your bikes. Love to ride, just trying to share the passion with you. And the whole time you're like, don't freak out, smile. Yes, sir. No, sir, But yeah, they were it's one of the coolest things you can possibly do is like go to like a biker rally. Like I recommend get a hotel away from the biker rally.
Yeah, that's probably a good call.
Yeah, but go check it out during the day, and then when the sun goes down, you're out.
Go home. Yeah.
You go home.
Last year at Daytona, we parked. We had our hotel undisclosed location, one exit away, right? And after the race, myself, Dan, Grant, I think it was Grant, Cam, and my son were hungry. So we followed the GPS to the closest restaurant, is what it said, right?
Yeah.
As soon as we pulled in with the moto van, we're right on the beach, and there had to be, it was bike week, the 100, 200 Harleys. And we, Dan's humor is very dry.
Yes.
And we walked up to the door, and there was these two guys, probably, I don't know, they probably had at least criminal records for murder, sure, twice or three times. And, they looked at us.
I like it.
I still had my Moto Academy Honda shirt on.
Yeah.
And the guy looked at me, he goes, Honda. And I'm thinking, oh God, we are going to get killed. He goes, Catanzaro. I'm like, yeah. Hey, come on in. I'm like, holy shit.
Holy shit. Dirt bikes. Honda, dirt bikes.
Big difference.
Just the generators. I promise. Just the generators.
That was my son's first look at a biker rally. He was like, well, that was fun, Dad. We got to watch Supercross, and then we got to see what it's like to have the Harley guys almost kill us. I'm like, yep.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. I love those stories. Guys, that was the last LCQ. Roxon got the first place spot on the top of the box there.
Go Bananas.
Go Bananas. Good battle for the last transfer spot. One of the most stacked LCQs I'm thinking this year so far. Jamie is insane. Guys, we're gonna cut it off there. If you want to watch the main events with us, go over to the Moto Academy app. If you are not already a patron on the Moto Academy app, please make sure you do. There's so much useful resources, a great community over there, and there's a lot of cool happenings. You guys are really able to have a very personalized approach to your motocross and your industry career. So head over, check that out, guys. Don't forget, a huge shout out to our amazing sponsors, FXR Moto, Flow Vision Goggles, EVS Power Sports, Overshare Advice and Planning, Speed and Sport Adventure Tours, Evans Power Coolant, and our new sponsors, Phoenix Handlebars. Those guys are awesome, guys. Use the promo codes below. Huge thank you to driver Jamie and to Tony. We're going to move these guys over to the Moto Academy app, so where we can watch that. I'm going to use the bathroom first, and then we'll move over. Guys, it's been awesome. We thank you to everybody in the chat. Make sure you go on to thecollectivexp.com. That way you guys can get tickets into the races and be able to hang with top teams, make connections, get hands-on with a bunch of different career paths like mechanic support, videography, and more. And the proceeds that we raise goes right back to pockets like guys you see in this chat, privateers who make the sport what it is. We've been helping people for years, and we want to hook you up too. Use your money wisely, put it towards something that's going to help the sport and gets you more bang for your buck. TheCollectiveXP.com. Use the promo code The Moto Academy to save. We're going to cut it off right there, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Driver Jamie and Tony, we'll see you in 5 minutes in the app.
You bet. Click the
Later.
links. Click the
All right,
links.
guys.
Save today. See ya.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you soon.
See ya.
Later.